Hey guys, this is your girl Karina Dean, and I am way overdue for this video. I wanted to do this about a week ago, but Mars in retrograde has really slowed me down. I had to learn a few lessons, and I finally think I'm getting it. So I want to make sure that whenever I put out any info, that I am actually doing the work too. And that's why I have to take my time sometimes just to make sure that I'm channeling what it is that I really want to channel in order to put the right energy out and to also help myself. This is about self-help. Often you see me write cycle breakers on Facebook and cycle breakers on my YouTube channel, and this is about breaking my own cycles. So if you feel like you want to break cycles with me, then join along. So today I am talking about cat calls. And this is a really important subject for me because as a person who has lived and grown up on the streets of New York, and specifically as a teen, when I was in high school, I had a really hard time with navigating myself on these streets. The minute that you walk out, you are overwhelmed by people who, specifically masculine energy, who really have something to say, don't they? Last year there was a documentary of a woman who documented herself with a camera, walked around the streets, and showed you how the cat calls happen to us women on a regular basis. So that was really a pivotal moment for me because I started to really embrace the fact that I don't want to be victimized anymore. And I started changing how I saw this whole thing, experience of being on the streets and of being called at, being catted at all the time. So what is this about? What is cat calls about? Well, I want to say that the sidewalks, the streets, the lanes that we navigate every day, it is a metaphysical breakdown. And if you do decode this, you can actually tap into the inner energy of your own being. So I want to talk to you about changing lanes first. And I really started to embrace the idea of working in your own lane, of staying in your own lane, and why changing lanes can sometimes be damaging for you because naturally you I want to transform and go against the grain, but there's something that's really beautiful about learning how to stay in your own lane. And when you stay in your own lane on the streets, then you are actually able to decode the energies that are happening to you. So changing lanes is a really interesting idea, but today I want to talk to you about how changing lanes actually distracts you. And the idea of changing lanes has to do with diving into other people's lanes, diving into their own energies and trying to manipulate your paradigm in that way. It's really best, from my understanding, to stick with what you know, to stick with what works with you. And therefore you can decode your reality. Cat calls. Okay, so as females and males, we are typically referring to each other through the animal spirits. We actually talk to one another. Okay, let's try this again. I had to actually change my position because I wasn't getting good feed. I'm out here in the park. So I had to actually I had to change my position, speaking of changing lanes. So I really love this idea because I've been playing with what it means to stay in your own lane and when it's time to change. And there we go. I'm already learning as we speak, because sometimes we need to understand how it is that our energy projects onto others as we navigate ourselves in these streets. And sometimes we do need to transform, to adapt, to change. So learning when to stay in your own lane and learning when to change is why I'm bringing this decoding today of cat calls. So let's talk about it. as women, we typically walk through the streets, specifically in these urban areas, and we are faced often with catcallers, right? And we naturally feel a certain way about it. Some women are okay with it. I personally wasn't for a very long time in my life, because growing up on the streets of New York, specifically in high school, I didn't really find that it was a great experience to be a young girl walking in the block and having, you know, older men like try to grab at you or try to talk to you. Really, it wasn't a safe environment for me. But as I have grown into my metaphysics, I've been able to decode my reality. So talking to you today about catcalls has a lot to do with our relationship to animals. And astrology works in this way as well. You can break down astrology on various levels. And one of the most ancient ways in understanding astrology is that it's the animal primitive state, right? So every sign is ruled by an animal in Western astrology and in Eastern, and it has to do with our connection spiritually to animals. Now, outside of astrology, we still use certain animals to even describe a masculine or feminine energy. So, for instance, dog is often described for masculine energy, right? Cats and birds are also described and connected to feminine energy. So this is not just a symbology, it's not just a pass and go. There's actually a spiritual connection that we have to these animals, and that's why. So when we're speaking specifically to the women, whenever you are walking around and you see the birds are following you, there's actually a message from the universe. They are giving you an energy reading of what it is that you are omitting out, which is why Ma'at, you know, the feminine principles of women are connected to the feather. And even Libra, Ma'at, Libra, this is all the concepts of the feathers and balance and femininity. So this is why birds are typically used to describe women, right? So, I mean, some people use it as a degrading term, like birds or pigeons, but women are also connected to, they are connected to those animals and they're to those breeds, and they're also connected to the crows, connected to the sparrows. All of these animals are signifying to you an energy reading. So today I'm going to talk to you about the cat. And why is it that the cat is so connected to the female? So think about this. If you live in an urban area and you have, you know, Arabs at a bodega, you know, you typically see cats in the bodegas. Why? Why do you think that this culture keeps cats around? They keep cats around because in ancient days, cats are significators of protection. Cats can actually determine the outcome of something. They actually have a connection to predictability. They can predict energies, cats. Cats are actually ruling over the physical dimension as well as the spiritual dimension. This is why cats can like sleep. They're different than dogs, right? They can sleep all day. They have a different energy about them. And their eyes are split. Cats' eyes are split. What does that have to do with? It's the crossing of dimensions. It is the ability to go in and out of sleep, and sleep is connected to the spiritual realm. So when you have cats in your area, they are protection, just like dogs, but in a different way. Dogs actually react to energy coming at them. Cats actually are different. They can predict, they can sense energy a little bit more beforehand because of their psychic connection. So let's talk about cat calls. Cat calls are connected to the lane that you're riding when you're walking down the street. So when you think about cat calls, it is connected to us as females because we are a symbology. The cat is a symbology of our own connection to the physical and spiritual realm. The reason that cat calls are uncomfortable for women is, from what I have learned, because as women, we are disconnected to our sexual energy. And therefore, as we walk down the street, we get cat called because the cat is representative of us, of our physical and spiritual sexual makeup, right? So the call, the crow, the calling is a significator of communication. So as you're walking down the block and you experience catcalls, like I can experience it even when it's the dead of winter and I'm wearing a coat and I'm like, what is it that you're calling at me for? You can't even see me, but it's really the energy that we possess. And often I find that I receive catcalls in my changing lanes, in my lanes, when it is that I am a little bit out of balance with self. So that is definitely when it comes to being out of balance with our sexual source energy. So the ka is the cat, right? So I wrote here ka, Ka or Ca is connected to source energy. And in other languages, the k sound is also not just K and not just C, but also CH. So the k, like bak, is still connected to source energy. Whenever you're saying ka, you're actually tapping into prana energy. So the key is to understand that we are sexual source energy. As we walk through these streets, the cat calls are actually a measurement, a scan of our sexual energy. Think about the CAT scan. The CAT scan uses X-ray, the hidden knowledge, the hidden, what you don't see. What you don't see, the X-ray goes into that, and the CAT scan gives you a report of what it is that is hidden. So it's really important to see that us as women, our cat calls are talking about what is hidden from us, the energy, the source energy that we are hiding from ourselves. So that's the metaphysics of it. In old days, like in the 1400s, the cat, the ka, is typically seen as the lion, and it was even the lion in astrology, the lion, the cat, specifically Leo women, they have that spiritual connection, very different than Leo men. They're very divine kind of being when they tap into their cat energy. And we all have Leo in our chart. So what's important to see is where is that your ka energy, your prana energy, your source energy can be utilized to bring people into spiritual and physical connection. So we don't understand sexuality enough to even be able to decode cat calls. So what you really have to do is to first embrace the fact that your paradigm can be decoded. What you're facing is an illusion. The cat calls, the cat scans are a measurement of what you can't see. And for women, what we can't see is our sexual source energy. So when you're experiencing cat calls, it's actually like a cat scan. It is a significator, a protection from the universe sending to you that you are typically out of balance with your own sexual energy. Cats have been used to talk about prostitution and to demoralize women, and typically cat in older generations have been used as a form to express their contempt for women. But when you go back to the origins, the etymology of cat, you're actually seeing that the reason that the contempt has been there is because it's about your sexual energy. And women's sexual energy, specifically our knowledge of sexual energy, has been stripped from us. It is hidden. You can't see it. So naturally we react to what we see, and we don't take the time to look into what we react to what we see, and we often don't take the time to decode what we don't see. And as women, decoding what you don't see is the force of feminine principles, because the feminine is ruled by everything that is hidden. The emotions, the darkness, nothing can quite be seen unless you are able to see in the dark, or unless you're able to decode your dark. So the cat, which is the animal that sleeps, is actually able to transfer itself. Its spirit, it is connected to the spiritual realm, the darkness, what we see when we close our eyes. And the cat is also here in the physical as well. It is a bridge to the physical and the spiritual realm. Okay, so in our African American culture, we did start to use the word cat, and actually men started to use the word cat when it came to being a jazz enthusiast. And cat was like a way of saying brother or fellow. So now the cat symbology has been transferred to men, but where is it that it was given, that us as women can take it back as well, can use it as well, to see ourselves as spiritual, animalistic, primitive beings, right? And it be okay. So when you walk down the block and you experience catcall, take a moment to check in your own balance. See what it is that you feel about your sexual energy at that moment. And it's not necessarily about what you're wearing as well. You know, we get caught up in what it is that we see with our two eyes. And the cat is actually symbolistic of what you see with this eye, what you see when you close your eyes. So when you're experiencing catcalls in the street, think about how you need to stay in your own lane, right? And understand that the cat call is asking for you, is just measuring for you, and it's asking for you to look within. What is your energy about yourself, about your source energy, your prana energy? Where is it that you aren't balanced in your prana energy, right? And then you can learn to change lanes, because sometimes you got to check these people out here on the streets. I'm not saying like that you just take the abuse. I'm just saying that it's important to see how we are creators of our own paradigm. And when we embrace the nature, the divine nature of the cat, we become a lot stronger in our manifestation capabilities. So I want to talk to you more about the birds and how the birds are connected to women. But right now I'm just going to keep it at the cat calls, so that we really understand that this is not, English language is a spell. So you got to decode the English language. You got to see how it's all connected. So the cat is also Arabic in the QAT, right? So it can be CAT, KAT, or QAT. I don't know if you can read my handwriting. So the cat, QAT, is connected to the cat, and Qatar, or Qatari, I believe it is a place in the east, surrounded by Persian land, and this is actually a sovereign country. So the Ka is sovereignty. Excuse me, the Ka is sovereignty. So learning to understand your prana energy, your source energy, is going to lead you to the land, the lane of sovereignty. When you have true freedom is understanding that you manifest. So then you have to work with everything that you have brought back onto yourself. So when you see a man on the street and he's catcalling at you, you have options. Right? And we don't always have to react. We can actually say, okay, am I imbalanced? Or do I want to stand and talk to this man? The other day, I did something I never do. This man was saying something to me, whispering. I looked up, I engaged with my eyes, and I asked my spiritual self, show me what it is that I don't want to see. Show me what it is that I'm reacting to instead of embracing. And I said to him, I was like, are you talking to me? And he was like, yeah, you know, I just felt like I needed to say something to you because of the way that you appeared in the street. And I changed my lane at that moment. Instead of staying where I typically stay, I said, okay, tell me what you were saying. And it was actually nothing of what I thought. I'm just so used to men like catting at me that I typically ignore them. And he was like, I was saying, like, you know, cheer up and be, you know, remember that you are a divine woman and that you're a beautiful woman. And I said, thank you. And I said, yo, like, that's okay too. I can have a conversation with these cat callers who are really my energy readers. And I said, I could change my experience when I'm being catted at just by engaging, just by trying to asking the universe to show me what it is that I am not seeing, to give me another reason to react. And what I ended up discovering is that I can change anything. I can just engage. When I am strong in myself, I can engage in these men and I can change my energy reading of my source sexual energy. And the more that I see cat calls now, I want to know more about myself. So that's why I address them. I address them to say, tell me, what is your scan? What is your cat scan of me? Because I want to be able to manipulate the energies now. I don't want to just be reactive on these streets. I want to change the energy that I get back to whatever my desire is, to whatever my liking is. So the cat, the ka, is connected to your source sexual energy. It's connected to your sovereignty. And it is a scan of your relationship to your physical and spiritual being. So that's how I decode the world. That's how I decode my world. And the Ka is actually my name, guys. So I am actually Kareen. Kareen, right? And the etymology of your name, the symbology of your name is just like a astrological name chart. You can read your generation, your ancestry. You can read your bloodlines in your name. So I changed my name from Kareen to Krina Dean. Still my name, but I changed it because I also wanted to change the vibration. Kareen is actually ruled by the moon, and Krina Dean is actually ruled by Venus. Krina specifically is ruled by Venus. So I still use my own name, but I changed it. And Kareen is still with me. That is my name. So wherever I go, my name is connected to karma, to cat, to the prana. Krina, K-R-E, is actually going to change my name to connecting to my eight number pattern, which is Saturn, Chronos, as well as Kra, as in Christ. And so my desire is to reach Christ consciousness through alchemy. And so Krina is now one of the vibrations that I choose in order to uplift myself, uplift the Ka in Kareen. So this is how I decode me. And if you want to understand what your name is, I'm doing name vibration readings in order to help people tap into the history of their name, the bloodline, the ancestry, the number value, the numerological value. Also, if you want to choose a name for your brand like I did, I can help you choose it so that it is in sync with your government name, your given name by your parents, but it also helps you to tap into what it is that you desire to manifest with your new name. So this is why it's so important to understand etymology, symbology, and astrology. So hit me up if you want to know more. I'll connect you to astrologers that I think would suit you. I'll also offer readings. What's different for me when I do my readings is that I want to help you find yourself. So I'm not always going to give you the answer you want to hear. I'm going to give you the connection. I'm going to remind you of your contracts. There are some astrologers who will help you get the answer you need. I'm more of a connector. So when you're going to look to me or get readings from me, I'm going to help you learn how to learn for yourself. I'm going to teach you how to fish. But I also have amazing connections to people who can also give you channeling, mediums, detailed astrology readings as well. So learn the value of your name, right? The minute that I learned the value of my name, everything changed for me. I started to see what was the relationship to me in my father's family with the last name. I started to learn the relationship of my mother, of my parents choosing my name, and then I started to embrace my ka, my sovereignty, and changed my name so that I could manipulate my energies even more. So you can do this through your mind, you can do this through writing, you can do this through sound vibration, and in fact, music being the mother of metaphysics, your name and how you speak it, the vibrations that come out of your name, of your words, is one of the like sharpest ways that the universe, your paradigm is shifted by your sound vibration. This is why cat calls. My name Kareen or Karina is so important to me because I discovered it and then I changed it, and I continue to learn the energies of what this means, and I continue to study my family, my ancestry through my name. We are so connected to ancient storylines. You have no idea. Some of you guys are reincarnations of ancestry from way back when. And when you really understand what it is that you're here to do, everything starts to be a lot clearer. So this is Cat Calls, decoding Cat Calls. It is your source energy. Tap into it like the CAT scan. Learn what is hidden in your sexual energy, females. Take back over the streets. Ride your lane if you want to, and change your lane when you know it's time to. And the next live stream, I'll be talking about so many more things that I want to share with you. And if you want to get a reading with me, just message me, inbox me, and let's make this happen. I'm here to bring the healing. Yes, I'm supporting myself, but I'm also here to heal. So, peace.